Sunday, October 12th, 2014. I'm here with Milo Wing in the WIKISPEED Linwood, Washington, United States shop. And out of scraps, now these are pretty long scraps, but they all had holes in them from previous projects, previous iterations of previous cars. He's fabricated the skeleton of a robotic arm. And he took a linear actuator that we use to activate our automatic transmissions for the programmatic shifting, and he's templated one of the joints. That linear actuator is strong enough to move 150 pounds. In this case, it's over leveraged. It can lower this mechanical arm assembly, but it can only raise it with assistance. So it either needs more leverage or a more powerful actuator. And he has a mechanical pinching arm from another project lent to us, or maybe even given, I'm not sure yet, by Michael Haase.
He said he got it for like $5, and so he picked it up, even though he didn't have a use for it.
So he took these 1x4s, 1 inch by 4 inch tubes, 1/8 inch thick wall here, 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 and here, which we no longer use.
This is 6061 T6. Electronics.
Oh yeah, sure. And the counterweight can go here on this 6x6, and they're on a piece of legacy suspension. So that's actually a car steering hub with lug nuts, or a car wheel hub with lug nuts that we no longer use that iteration, so it was available. And then 3x3 tube, which we no longer use, we standardized on 4x4 with holes in it from previous experiments and previous car implementations. That one actually hasn't been used since the X Prize. And now these gussets we do use, but I'm happy to have some of these being deployed, and they're not even being damaged, so we could even reuse them. These gussets that we water jet cut.
If you didn't like the idea, I could scrap it and take those off, and no harm done.
Yeah, right? The only new holes have been put in parts that had been deemed as scrap and ready for experiment. And then this old long piece of 4x4 that still even has Velcro on it from during and just after the X Prize. What can you tell us through as you walk us through this this mock-up, and then, if we're lucky, a prototype of a robotic arm?
When you go to put the angle iron, make sure your measurements are right and actually mill it. Don't use a drill. Drill slip, which put your frame slightly off alignment and make it not look quite as good as it could.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Now, it's remarkable the holes are as online as they are. And a drill press would work, but in our case, we just use a milling machine, which is awesome. Okay, that's an improvement right there. What else would you tell to someone experimenting with, in this case, an aluminum robotic arm?
I'm pretty early on, so I don't really know the pros and cons. If I find a decently priced one, I might pick up some hydraulics and test out hydraulics on it, see how accurate we can get those with the electronic controller. It's still pretty much all experimental at the moment. So.
Well, we'll see where this may go. And again, talk about an interesting repurposing of material that had been deemed as scrap, which is exactly what it's for. Milo, about how long did this take? About how many hours are in the fabrication of this?
Probably around 4.
So you moved very quickly. And if you're doing it again, it might even take 3 or even 2 hours.
Yeah, if I had drawn up the plans previously, which I will after getting it all done, I'll draw up some nicer, neater plans for new material where the holes would need to be exactly. Then I could just take the stack of parts, drill them all at once, and then the assembly would probably be like 20 minutes after having all the holes drilled in precisely the spots where they need them, instead of putting them all together as a go, so might work better and a lot faster.
Oh, sure, if we get to that stage.
Up to make multiple copies of it or something.
Right. In this case, we're mocking up what may be a prototype, what is now a brilliantly fun experiment. Cool. Thanks, Milo. Anything else you'd want to share about the idea?
Not really. Not at the moment. It's pretty early on, so.
Thanks.